From the studios, it's election yard, and we have to get into the Wisconsin Supreme Court election at some point. That will be in a different video tonight. What we're talking about here are the special elections that took place today, April 7th, in Georgia. There was a congressional special election, and there were a couple of state legislative special elections. But whether it's the Georgia races or the Wisconsin race, I think you can say across the board the news was overall pretty good for the Democrats, even though they didn't win everywhere, especially in Georgia. So let's just get right into it. Let's start off with the 14th district of Georgia. So this, of course, was Marjorie Taylor Greene's district. This is in northwest Georgia, but you can see the district does have a southern reach, which does get a little bit into the Atlanta metro area. That's its, I guess you could call it its bluer portion, but this is, generally speaking, a pretty red district. So when you see a result like this, the one on the screen, you might be thinking, okay, well, the Republican won. What's the big deal here? But the margins here are actually pretty important. So you have Clay Fuller, the Republican. He's going to Congress. 57% of the vote. Sean Harris, the Democrat, 43%. Well, for one thing, it's important because Marjorie Taylor Greene got over 64% of the vote here just in 2024, so only about a year and a half ago at this point. And a Democrat getting almost 43% of the vote here, that's a really, really good showing for a Democrat in this part of the state, where Democrats generally don't do well at all. And as you can now see on the screen, it was a swing to the Democrats at this point, and there may be final results still to come. We were on about 92% when we shot this video. 7.22% swing to the Democrats, and if you think it's an overperformance for the Democrats against 2024, you are absolutely right. So Donald Trump, according to our calculations, won this district by about 36 points last time. The Republicans only won it by 14 points tonight. So that is a huge overperformance for the Democrats of over 20 points. So no two ways about it. The Democrats did much better here than expected, much better than their baseline from 2024. And as we do, let's put up the new U.S. House of Representatives. With this seat filled, there are still two vacancies. The Republicans just barely over that 218 line at 219 seats. The Democrats 214. I'll tell you one thing, like I always say, you don't want to read too much into any one special election, but if there's a 7% swing nationally in the U.S. House races, there's absolutely no way that Republican majority at 219 seats would survive it, but there's still a long way to go. So now let's drop down to the state legislature. So now looking at Senate District 53, and these are all runoffs, by the way. This covers a lot of the same ground as the 14th district, so turnout was higher here than in the other races because you had a congressional race overlaying a lot of this territory in rural northwest Georgia, and this is very, very red territory. And you can see Lanny Thomas, the Republican, he did win with a little under 69% of the vote, but the Democrat clearing 30%. That is a 10-point swing to the Democrats in this seat. And again, if you think it's an overperformance for the Democrats against 2024, again, you're right. Donald Trump won this district, according to our calculations, he won this district by 58 points last time. Well, the Republicans winning it by 37 this time. It's another Democratic overperformance of about 20 points. So very similar to the number that we saw in the 14th district of Georgia. So now let's move out to House District 94. We'll only touch on this one briefly. This one in the Atlanta metro area. This was a Democrat versus Democrat race, and it was won by Vanola Mason, 68% of the vote, over Kelly Kotz at 31.5%. So obviously a Democratic hold there. And now finally, let's go to House District 130. This is out in the Augusta area. The Masters starting in a few days, but they had to get through this special election first. So this was a Democratic seat, and so it shall remain. Sheila Clark Nelson, the Democrat, the winner here. Lower turnout than you saw in the other races. Beat the Republican candidate Thomas McAdams. 70% of the vote, almost 71% of the vote for Nelson here. And again, a Democratic overperformance, though a much smaller one. So Kamala Harris won this district by about 35 points last time. Democrats winning it by 41 tonight. So about a 6-point overperformance for the Democrats here. So let's move to the board and show you the standings after Georgia's special elections tonight. So this doesn't include the U.S. House race. As it says on the bottom here, this is only state legislative special elections. So the Democrats won 2 of those seats. The Republicans won 1. So Democrats, no changes in seats tonight. They're still +5 overall for the year. They've won 31 special elections this year. The Republicans have won 14. And now looking at the overperformance screen, the Democrats have overperformed in 31 special elections so far versus their 2024 numbers. The Republicans have only done it in 4, and they are actually in a distant third place against indeterminate, in which there are 10 seats which we could not make a determination of overperformance or underperformance for varying reasons. So the Republicans in a distant third in this category. And again, I'll say it again. I just said it a few minutes ago. I will say it again. You can't read too much into any one special election. But other than the fact that the Republicans did win a couple of these special elections tonight, I'm not really sure how good the news is for them here. Like, take a look at that Marjorie Taylor Greene seat, the 14th district of Georgia. The Republicans should be winning that one without even batting an eye. They should be getting 65% of the vote there minimum. And now we're talking about them at 56, 57% of the vote. That's a very underwhelming number. And I know you're going to say, well, turnout, well, this, well, that. Well, Artemis is flying around the moon. Mercury's in retrograde. It's the age of Aquarius, whatever. The results are still what the results are. And who voted is who voted. So these numbers aren't that great for the GOP. Yeah, they won, but that's a pretty heavy swing that they took against them in some of these seats. Some serious Democratic overperformances against 2024. And when we get to the Wisconsin video, which is going to be next, that's going to continue that trend of some really, really ugly numbers for the conservative/Republican candidate out there as well. So there is a bit of a national trend tonight, I guess, if you want to call it that, between 2 states. But on we go. The special election trends continue to favor the Democrats as we get into April. And of course, there will be more special elections that we're going to be tracking over the next few weeks. There, of course, will be some congressional special elections that come up in the next few months as well. And those will continue to help us to set the stage to figure out exactly what might happen in November. And if you want to find out what's going to happen in November, stick right here at Election Yard. Like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We'll see you soon.